Believe in the miracle of life.
Life's a break with no rehearsal. Men quickly they'll come for your blow. Games to play can't take it personal.
Cause the devil is a lie. I'm telling you the truth. It's all in what you do. Some things you gotta do. Hey, barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. We about to go live in motherfucking 10 minutes. Motherfucker. And don't forget the concert starts tomorrow. 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern, man. We gonna rock and roll, man. And yeah, man, we got Hope coming in tomorrow night. Yeah, and we got Professor Griff Thursday and Sergeant Dorsey on Wednesday, man. Is there better programming in America? Shit. But on a real deal, man, let's jump into this shit, man. I saw an article by Danny Garcia, and he said that he's stronger. He says that let me read the title. Oh, Errol Spence don't have more skills and more power than him. And I thought that was pretty compelling, right? And I'm uncertain if that's true. You know, Earl is an Olympic. Danny Garcia is a hard worker. Consistency pays off. Danny Garcia is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. This is a good ass fight, y'all. Y'all motherfuckers like power punches and intellect and boxing. Y'all gonna get that on November 21st, something like that. November 21st, somewhere in there. That's what you guys gonna get. And it will be a fan-friendly fight. Hopefully the build-up leads up to it. Hopefully these niggas start talking shit and swallowing spit, you know what I mean? And they need to come into the barbershop. Somebody help me get a hold of Danny Garcia. I can get a hold of Earl, but somebody help me get a hold of Danny Garcia or Angel Garcia. That should be cool. But I got one thing, and I've been saying this for a long time, because I think I've even told Earl this a few times, man. If the Errol Spence that fought Chris Algieri is back, that mindset is back, and there's two things I remember in that fight. Obviously, the shag, right? Right, the shag. But that was like my revelation because Derek James and I had great conversations about Earl and what he was telling me. But it was that fight where I started opening my eyes, and my boy TB Tyron Brown is a big Errol Spence fan. And I was late to the party, and that's okay. But there was two things when I rewatched the fight. I didn't see it live, but when I rewatched the fight, there was two things. How Errol Spence foot was on the gas the whole entire fight. I'm not sure how many rounds it went, maybe 5 rounds, maybe 7 rounds. I'm uncertain of that. And then how Earl manipulated Chris Algieri's head and led him to his straight left, right? And then the third thing, that's the best shape I've ever seen Errol Spence in my life. And the reason why I know that is because when Errol Spence knocked him out, he flexed and the camera was behind him. You guys can go back and watch it. The camera was behind him or something, and he was like, raw, like the Incredible Hulk. And I says, damn, you know what I mean? And if that Errol Spence shows up November 21st, Danny's in some trouble. You know what I mean? That determination, that work ethic, that preparation. And truth be told, Earl said he's never had a dietitian. So now that version of Earl can actually be better. You know what I mean? I know he had Derek James. I know he had a trainer. Blu-ray was his trainer then. And he didn't have a nutritionist. So imagine Derek James, Blu-ray, and a nutritionist. I think Earl started. I saw Jordan do they contracted a meal prep. I remember that shit from the 24. I remember that shit. That food was being delivered. And they were dropping off. I think Jordan was going to pick it up from a guy that they actually knew from the Dallas area, which is dope, man. Keep supporting those local businesses so they can get some shine. You know what I mean? Keep your business 360 inside the 360-degree circle. Yeah, we going live in 7 minutes. But yeah, if Earl can do this shit, because I I was reading that article, and Danny is right. Danny could possibly be right because because I remember Earl at the end of that fight. Someone asked him, and I was fortunate enough to be in the locker room when Earl won. I don't know how the fuck I got back there, but I got back. I was in there and shit, and I saw them hand Earl that check and shit, and someone asked him, uh, um, why you didn't knock him out? The nigga said, I was tired. He had threw over 1,000 punches or some shit. I remember something like that. And he took a picture with Terry Norris, if I'm not mistaken. There was a few other people back there, but I remember that. I remember that scene. Yeah, that's it, man. So I believe that if the Chris Algieri Errol Spence shows up, and I'm talking to Team Spence right now, that guy is special. That guy is what Al Heyman saw, what Floyd Mayweather saw, what Keith Thurman saw, what delayed the Sean Porter fight, what made Manny Pacquiao go a different route, what made Timothy Bradley retire. That Errol Spence is scary. And this is just my perspective. I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself a serious fan. You know what I mean? But that Errol Spence, lights out. You know what I mean? Because Danny's gonna prepare. And I believe that when you watch the Lamont Peterson fight, Earl was getting countered. And I remember Earl tapping on his head. That was in New York. I remember that shit because I actually spoke to Earl about buying the Tesla in the hotel lobby and shit. And but he went off to greener pastures and got bigger and better cars. And he got countered in that fight. That counter is a Danny Garcia counter. You understand what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Danny Garcia has more power than Lamont Peterson, I believe. You know what I mean? More one punch counter power. You know, I'm not sure what 2 and 3 punches feel like. But I remember Earl saying that, yeah, he felt good the entire fight, never really was in trouble, stuff like that. But yeah, that Chris Algieri Errol Spence is special. I've seen it with my own eyes. I believe it. He was hungry then. He said by his own admission in the Brian Custer. Shout out to Brian Custer's been dropping, man, bombs, man. Keep them coming, Brian. You making everyone's job easier, man. Keep them interviews coming. And yeah, he was making the illusion that he's rededicated himself, his daughters and shit. I saw him on a ranch. I watched all his stories and shit. So he's definitely moving slower, more concentrated. And Danny's always gonna move slow. He's always gonna spend a lot of time between Miami and Philadelphia and live a good lifestyle. He's determined this fight. He knows this fight makes him a megastar, the man that he's always wanted to become, the man that he believes that success has been delayed. So, anyways, man, I got to go because we about to open up the barbershop in like 3 minutes, though. But I just got to finish reading that article, and Danny Garcia is right. If that Errol Spence that walks into the ring against Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia has a chance. All right. And I would tell Earl this. Hopefully, maybe he watches this video. Maybe he does, and I don't know. I hope he does. But that if Errol Spence fights Mikey Garcia with the same mindset that he prepared for Mikey Garcia, I knew he was gonna beat Mikey Garcia 12 rounds to shit that whole fight. You know, the Garcias were kind of mad. Hey, by the way, Robert, you owe me 100 push-ups, dog. But anyways, man, that guy's special. But Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia has a great shot. You know what I mean? And so we need the Chris Algieri Errol Spence to stand up. And come on in the barbershop when you're ready, Earl. The fans will be elated to hear from you, man. So we got November 21st. We got Charlos, and I want to do some parody videos about the Charlos, dog. They motherfuckers make me laugh forever and ever, man. Them niggas are funny. Anyways, man, barbershop conversation. We about to go live in a minute and a half. Come on in the barbershop, man. I'll holler at you guys. Peace.